Welcome to Tell Us Why, a podcast for the financial freedom community. If you're looking to succeed in your quest for financial freedom, make sure you join us every week as we, along with our guests, discuss different stories of success, how they were achieved, and how you can do the same. And of course, we ask them to tell us why. Here are your hosts, Jack and Mike.
Welcome to the Tell Us Why podcast. I'm your host, Jack Darnapple, here alongside my co-host, Mr. Michael Ketchen. Today we are talking with Mark Vitiello. Mark is the owner of Imperial Inspection Services. Whether you're buying your very first home, a vacation home, or another investment property, the home inspection is an important part of the process. Without it, buyers would be left with unanswered questions. Not knowing the potential underlying conditions of your new home or commercial property could lead to financial or health-related hardships. Since 1985, Imperial has helped people like you find a safe place to call home and secure investment properties. Their inspections serving Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Southern New Hampshire will give you the ability to proceed confidently. Imperial Inspection Services is experienced, reliable, and knowledgeable with a staff of combined 67 plus years in the business. Home inspections, commercial inspections, lead paint, and radon testing. Don't let being uninformed keep you up at night. But before we get to Mark's episode, Mike and I just got back from the Limitless Expo in Scottsdale, Arizona. Not gonna lie, it was pretty great. Got to meet Brandon Turner, Robert Kiyosaki, listen to them speak. There's a ton of smart people there. Highly recommend that conference next year. I think they already announced it 2023. Not sure where it's going to be, but trying to figure it out. Despite just getting back, Mike is already in Savannah, Georgia. And as you may be aware, because he hasn't cut me off or called me out for messing up the intro, he's not here today. He's in Savannah shoring up his next Airbnb purchase. Thing is literally in the water. It's a beach house on the beach at high tide. It's in the water. So he's down there dealing with that. But for the episode, he was more than there. So get into Mark Vitiello's episode right now. But before we do that, let's hear from our sponsor.
Are you sick of being treated like just another number by large insurance companies? Do you want a more personalized experience with somebody that you can trust? With Keith Monteith, that's exactly what you'll get. Keith is an experienced professional who can design an insurance plan tailored to fit your specific needs. With access to over 30 insurance carriers, Keith is able to shop numerous markets to find a price that works for you. So if you want an insurance agent that you can rely on and one that has your best interests at heart, then call or text Keith today on 978-241-2363. That's 978-241-2363. Keith Monty. He'll get you covered.
Okay, so Mark Vitiello recently took over control of Imperial Inspection Services. His 10-year background in multifamily home ownership and property management led him to the inspection services. I can't wait to get into how Mark went through the whole business acquisition process and is now implementing new technology to his team in order to facilitate new growth opportunities. But before we get into that, Mark, why don't you tell everyone who you are and where your business is at today?
All right, so I'm Mark Vitiello. I bought Imperial back in January after selling my multifamily investments. Currently de-antiquating a company. A lot of paper reports and printed radon reports, things of that nature. That's just not going to fly in the modern day. Just launched a brand new, cleaned up website. It's a lot better than the old, like an early 2000s website. I'm looking at it going, this is terrible. My business partner, who is an older guy.
Optimized for AOL.
Yeah. That's what my business partner goes, oh, this is a pretty good website. And I'm like, no, it isn't. You're just an old person. Yeah. All of our inspectors' tablets. Just started playing with drones to do, drone imagery, be that in real estate or any other field.
Yep.
And we're getting into mold and air quality.
That's awesome. I have so much to unpack and so many questions because I am so fascinated by this. So, Mark, what I'm gonna hit you with right off the bat, okay? What is it like going in I mean, did you have any prior experience in this field? Are you coming in cold turkey just with a business mind trying to optimize this business? Let's start there.
So when I bought my property, the multifamily that I had, I kind of talked to all the locals. I started doing property management for like the 5 or 6 houses in my neighborhood. So I
Yep.
got into sweating pipe, fixing drywall, things of that nature. And then when I sold the house, we had a pretty in-depth home inspection process, and it
Okay.
piqued my interest. I went through 3 more home inspections with various different houses that are being bought and sold. We had my father's house, a flip that we did, things of that nature.
Okay.
Piqued my interest. I had the money from selling my house. I could take some time off to do the training, and kind of just brought me right into it.
Awesome. So with that said, tell our listeners, because we're going to hit you like we're on ground level. We're going to go through this with the Tell Us Why community. How do you even approach somebody about buying a business? How do you find a business for sale? What is that like?
So it's kind of wild. It was kind of kismet. I was looking for a business 2 or 3 years ago. Just didn't work out. The numbers weren't right, but we didn't tell the company that was looking businesses for us to stop looking. So we get an email that's a home inspection company in Sagamore for sale. And we're like, I just finished home inspection training. This seems kind of like it was just meant to be. But we use LoopNet. LoopNet gave us a whole huge listing of businesses that are for sale. And it kind of guides you through it, gives you a broker to help you work with it and get into it.
Gotcha. Okay. And then are you going through a broker? Are you going direct to seller through LoopNet? What is that process like?
So we actually used the seller's agent just because LoopNet referred us straight to them.
Gotcha.
I've heard business brokers can be a little less cool than realtors. Kind of like
are realtors cool? Is this a thing I don't know about?
Cooler than
Is that a super low blow? I'm not sure.
Trust me, you don't want to know how I feel about realtors. I mean, shout out. I think we had Sam on a couple weeks ago, and I'm still upset about it. But we got to let him on the podcast every now and then. But yeah, no. So all jokes aside, so you go in, you reach out, you're going into this industry, you finish the training. What was the opportunity? Basically, what was the criteria you were looking for in an opportunity? What made this opportunity fit that box?
Making enough money to replace my income, being able to help some people, and have something that has a good background, a good foundation, and a lot of people who like them, a lot of the well-known company in the area.
Gotcha. And that's smart. I mean, Jack, what do you think about that? If you were to sell, I guess I never thought of it this way. If you were to sell 1124, that brand is actually kind of important because the branding kind of can help lead the business. And I never thought of it that way. That was a real good point where it was an established company already. You know what I mean?
I just my question is like, why, when you sold your house, like, were you working at the time? Like, were you working a 9 to 5, or was it like, I sold my money, I'm living off of that, and now I don't want to work. I want to own a company. I want to build a business.
I was working a 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Furniture retail sales job.
Okay.
Commission sales, real good money. Pandemic hit, and the owners got real greedy and real dirty. And I just lost interest working for them and just went, you know what? I've been talking about home inspecting for 2 or 3 years. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get into it and get out of this crap hole.
Yep. Bet on yourself, building your castle in your own sand instead of, well, go back and right. And when people listen to this episode, we hammer this point home all the time, right? It's being in control of your destiny, both good and bad. But it's being in control. If you listen to what Mark just said, everything can be great, but as long as you're still living transactionally and you're not in control of those transactions, it's a lot riskier than what people realize. Everyone thinks it's safe to have the great job and it's safe to have the benefits and it's safe. No, that's an illusion. That is an illusion of safety. I will tell you, like, I'm going to go on a real quick tangent just because I think I need to bring things full circle. Seriously, this just
Michael Ketchinism. Here we go.
Yes, this just happened because everyone thinks teachers are the safest, the pensions, the state jobs. I want to tell you a quick story. One of my former teachers who used to work for me, good guy, great guy, just reached out. He took his discipline, his teaching style from a tough urban school to a non-urban district in Massachusetts, his hometown. A couple students didn't like the way he was disciplined in the class, so they get together, they make some accusations. He's a first-year teacher. Accusations are proven to be not true. The school forces him to resign without firing him so he can keep taking his years towards his pension. This man's world got twisted upside down. His entire pension, he is 2 years from retirement. His entire pension, if he had fought it and lost, it all would have went away. There's your safety net when you're doing it on someone else's terms.
That's kind of crazy.
I tell people this because remember, I've talked about on the podcast when I left education. They all think it's a guarantee. It's a guarantee until it isn't. The only guarantee is when you are in control of the decisions. You are in control of the business you're building. Mark, fucking love what you said. Fuck that furniture job. Glad you're here.
Actually, I want to piggyback on that for a second. Like, people were always like pensions. Like during the 60s, 70s, pensions were the thing. And all of a sudden, the 80s and 90s, those pensions started failing because they weren't properly funded. People thought that they were going to be set for life from 65 on. All of a sudden, they're 67 and realize that they don't have a pension anymore. And now they got to figure out what to do for the rest of their lives. Like, people think pension is guaranteed. It's not. Pensions across the world are underfunded. So state pensions, even if it's like a municipal thing, they're always underfunded. I mean, the United States government, they can't pay their debts anyway. They're just printing more money to pay their debts. Eventually, something needs to happen in that regard. Like, you think the safest, securest assets in the world is the treasury. Someday that might not be able to be paid. So if the government can't pay the debts, there's a possibility that the government can't pay their debts. There's always a possibility that your company or state or whatever it is, municipality, won't be able to pay their debts as well. Yeah. I mean, it happens really all the time. People rely on it like it's set in stone. It's not.
Yeah, it's guaranteed until it isn't. So Mark, really great. And I think it was very important to share that with the community there. So getting back to this, you realize, okay, COVID shifts, my great job goes away. I'm going to buy this business. I finish up this thing. I'm going to bet on myself. I sold some assets, right? Not liabilities, assets. Mark had some multifamily. He cashed in, height of the market. You were able to live comfortably off that income that you had acquired from those assets while you put yourself through this training, and now you're able to fund a business. Can you talk to us a little bit, only go as in depth as you want. Talk to us about the financing process of acquiring a business. No one's ever done that on the show.
Actually, I thought it was a lot harder than it was because I dealt with a realtor who also dabbled in business 3 years ago, and he overcomplicated it, added in some of the realtor finance problems. The business broker streamlined it.
Okay.
You only need 20% down flat. There's no reserves required. There's no silly games. As long as your background's clean, like no criminal background, things of that nature. But even that can be overlooked for certain businesses. This one, fortunately, no. Proper licensing, and then just having the money down.
Yep.
And you're good to go. They made it pretty easy. It was a Neary Group. They're pretty good.
Neary Group. And you know what the takeaway there, Jack, that I want everyone to listen to on this episode? Mark didn't know what he didn't know, and that didn't stop him. It ended up being a blessing. Yeah. He went and did it. And guess what? By taking actions, it turns out it wasn't that complicated. The boogeyman didn't come out and destroy him, right? He went and took action. Absolutely friggin' love it. So that's great.
Self-education. Like, you didn't know the inspection business. You went and taught yourself, or went and got educated. Then you didn't know how to buy a business. You went out, you figured it out. Like, that's the type of shit that I love to see. I love to hear. And people they overcomplicate everything. Like, you can go do this yourself. Get out there, get off your ass and do something. Like, stop sitting there scrolling on Instagram and read a book or take a class or go on YouTube. Like, it's not complicated. Oh, it is complicated, but you just got to put in the effort sometimes.
We all get the same 24 hours. How you invest it will dictate your returns.
So, and I know there's like small business association products where you can put up to down to 10% down. I think that's what I did. There's a lot of options out there. Like, if you don't have the funds, like whatever it is, 20%.
Yep.
There's other options out there, like there's in finance, like in real estate, like VA loans, FHA loans. Like, you don't always have to put down that traditional 20%. There's always options out there, and you could pull a Mike Ketchen and do some creative financing, maybe use an investor, and you can eliminate some of that equity, but you'll get that down payment with no problem. So there's always options out there.
And he just hit the nail on the head. Mark, were you about to say, did you use an SBA loan?
I did, yes.
Okay, can you talk to the community a little bit about that?
So it's the government-backed loan. So it's kind of an insurance. So they do a deeper dive than the bank does into your accounts. They want to make sure you can prove the money came from. They don't want ill-gotten gains. So they track it back. Only 90 days. If ill-gotten gains, just wait 90 days.
Yep.
And then you can put it through. They vet you. They do credit checks, like everybody's a credit check with a bank. And it drags on. It takes a while. We put the offer in June and closed in January. Traditional loan can close in like 30 to 90 days for a business loan. SBA, because they did a crazy program last year where if it closed by September 31st, you had 3 waived payments. Your first 3 payments were waived. So we really tried hitting that mark, and we're 3 months off that mark, so it didn't work out for us. But everybody tried hitting that, so it just dragged things out.
Yep. But you know what? I like it though, and the SBA process will definitely do something. We got a future guest coming on who's going through it right now for a hair salon, so it's definitely a great resource to go
SBA
with
is
it.
Small Business Administration.
Small Business Administration.
Just throw that out there for people that are unfamiliar.
Got it. All right. So you come in. Obviously, these guys you walk in. It's easy because employees and staffing and payroll. That's all easy stuff, right? Everyone just says you're the boss. Everything's golden, right?
Honestly, the folks that I have made it as easy as it could be. Like I had to teach some older people how to use new technology. All of our employees work remote, so I had to make house calls to show them how to use the new softwares. So I'm sitting in their kitchens and walking them through booking inspections and scheduling. And QuickBooks is an absolutely awesome program. It made the payroll go seamless. There wasn't a missed paycheck or a changed payday. And Spectora, as far as inspection software goes, is amazing. It's super integrated into everything. It works with Google Calendar, Apple Calendars, books our services, books everything for us. Only thing I had to do was actually build an inspection report. The good news is the previous owner had the idea of going digital, so he started making one. And then when I put an offer in, he just stopped dead because he goes, not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and what I want people to understand there too, Mark, and I'm going to make an assumption here. You correct me if I'm wrong, but talking to you and the way you think, I'm pretty confident I'm correct. You are buying a business, you're not buying a job. And what I mean by that is you are laying the infrastructure to make this scale. So you're overseeing your employees and you're leveraging multiple employees and their time instead of you going out and doing it transaction based, like a lot of inspectors are, where they're getting paid just for the inspection. Am I correct in that you're setting up the systems to kind of leverage multiple inspectors?
Yes, we actually have a new inspector in training right now that we're working with getting him going, and we're expanding territory, adding guys, and then we're going to expand into 2 more states. We're going to go New Hampshire and Rhode Island. New Hampshire, probably faster because their government's easy to work with, and Rhode Island is Rhode Island.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Shots fired. I like it.
Makes my Massachusetts list of states I will not touch. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's great. Go ahead, Jack.
No, I mean, I'm just really curious, about again, your business this business has been in business since 1985. This company has been in business since 1985. A lot of those employees, am I wrong, have been there since that time? Like you have the inspector number 4 in the state of Massachusetts, right?
Yes. So he is
the previous owner, but still there, right?
Yes, he's the founder of the company. He's semi-retired. He sold me the company. He's staying on to help out with the transition, as well as to do the lead testing while I'm still going through that licensing process, because now the state's involved again. So of course things are going to take forever.
Yep.
We have Dave, who's inspector number 47. And to give perspective, I am inspector 761. So we have 4 and 47, and then 761.
Wow.
So what is that? I mean, I feel like that's got to be a difficult process. Like they've been set in their ways since 1985. You come in as a new owner. Was there any friction at all? Or was it like, hey, this is what I'm doing? And everybody's just like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do it this way now. Like, I feel like that's got to be a difficult process. Like when I'm trying to teach my parents new technology or something like that, it's brutal. Like how seamless was that process?
It was definitely brutal teaching the technology, but they were all very receptive.
That's awesome.
Dave, number 47, was hounding the previous owner for a while, saying, look, everybody around us is digital. We just got to do it. Steve looked into it and then just never pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah.
So the culture you kind of walked into is awesome. That's kind of helped facilitate the transition. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. Great group of people. All the employees that we have, they're killer people. They work hard. Our marketing agent, Scott, is absolutely phenomenal. He's our radon tech. He wants to provide more services. He wants to get out there and do more stuff. I walked into a great situation.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That is great. I love it. I mean, there's so many gems being dropped right now. I don't even think people are going to realize. I got to go back and listen multiple times, which is, a perfect segue to ask you this, the same question we ask every guest every week. What is one book or resource you'd recommend to the Tell Us Why community?
For the home inspection industry, internachi.org, internachi.org.
Okay.
They wrote the book on home inspecting, and they're kind of like a pseudo governing body. There's no real set rules of how you do things, but they give a great set of guidelines. They also tell you how to get licensed, how to do your continuing education. They have entire courses you can take to learn how to do the proper kinds of inspections, different components. Like there's a roof inspection course, a siding course. It's just a pretty awesome resource. And a lot of it, you can access it for free, but to get really in depth, you got to pay a subscription service. And then there's a whole forum that's dedicated to just inspecting.
Gotcha. And then maybe like that's great for sharing. What about maybe a book or resource on the business entrepreneurial side? Anything that's had an impact to help you make this shift you'd recommend?
I didn't read it myself, but my father has always been a big proponent of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he's instilled some of those values in my thought process.
Yeah.
A lot of the teachings from that.
Can we touch on that real quick? Because I don't think we've ever had anyone say it, and how fortunate you were to have a parent instilling that framework in you. Talk to me a little bit about what that was like compared to maybe some of your friends in the upbringings. Give me an example of that, if you will, with your dad and how that's kind of benefited and helped you out.
So my dad's actually my business partner. He went in on it with me because we both have the same kind of, I guess the good word is arrogance. So we have a tough time working for other people. So since he was in his 30s, he's been trying to figure out how to go in business for himself, and just having the capital to just do it just wasn't there. Yep. And when I sold my house, he made some good investments himself. Like when the pandemic hit, he shifted his retirement into medical.
Oh,
so
yeah, good timing.
So I was always raised under the idea of at some point we're going to do this for ourselves. We're not going to work for somebody else. We're going to be the bosses. We're going to do this the right way. He definitely helped push.
That is a great story. That's one of my favorite stories we've had on the podcast through 50 some odd episodes.
Yeah. So before we move on to the big three, there is one question I just want to ask you. So going forward, from a demand perspective, like rates are going up, rates in theory are going to decrease demand because people are going to be able to afford less house-wise. So my question is, do you foresee a drop in business in your business anytime in the near future because of something like that, a demand shift due to rates going up or anything like that?
We're in the drop. People are waiving inspections in record numbers right now. We're staying afloat, we're profitable, but it's not what previous years were.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that is true across the board.
Yeah.
One of our major competitors laid off close to half their inspection force. So with the shift I read an article recently that we're coming up over the hump and things should level out a little bit. We're thinking inspection should come back, but we're also pushing into new territory. So we're not going to get, the same number of inspections from the same realtors, add some new realtors, keep going and going and going, replace the money that's not coming in with new money.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, demand is so high that people are waiving inspections. If you decrease demand a little bit, people are going to stop waiving the inspection contingency, start doing inspections because it's not frowned upon anymore. So a decrease in demand might actually be good for your business.
Yep.
Yeah, it's inverse.
Yeah. I mean, supply's not there. Like there's a supply issue mainly. Like demand is going to be there. We're not even anywhere close to satisfying demand at this point. So I feel like demand is going to stay there. Supply is just not there. So you have these people stop paying cash in 3 days and waiving inspection every contingency there is. That's really interesting still. All right. Ready to move on to the big three?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
It's now time for the Big Three segment, brought to you by QS Private Lending. Are you looking to finance your next deal quickly and reliably with less hassle and paperwork? QS Private Lending is one of the oldest and largest hard money lenders to real estate investors in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Our quick and simple short-term loans require no appraisals and have enabled hundreds of builders and investors to profitably acquire and renovate thousands of residential and commercial properties. To experience the QS difference for yourself, call or text Luke Conroy today at 315-323-0250. That's 315-323-0250. QS Private Lending.
All right, so now it is time for the big three. These are the three questions we ask every guest every week, and I will kick it off with the college question. So, Mark, in your opinion, is college worth it?
No.
Perfect.
I did not go to college. I jumped 2 feet into my dad was working for a copier company, and he got me a job on site doing print services and whatnot. And then I bought a multifamily. I bought my 3-family when I was 22, and that gave me basically a free place to live. I had no rental costs.
Yeah.
And that gave me the freedom to go into sales and discover that your income is unlimited in the sales world.
Mhm.
And that brought me to where I am now. And there was zero college. I mean, I did a home inspection training course. I'm a firm believer if the job you want doesn't require a degree, don't get a degree.
Yeah.
If your thoughts are, I want to be a plumber, there's no reason to go get a liberal arts degree. That's foolish.
Yep.
Go to tech school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a
Totally
great
agree.
answer. Great answer. The next one we ask every guest every week. What is one piece of actionable advice you go back and give to your 18-year-old self?
Well, I was 18 in 2008, so I would say buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can.
Love it. Absolutely love it. That might be the best answer we've ever had. That's a good one. And for people unfamiliar, I think, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it trading around 1,000 a coin in 08, I believe?
Oh, it was pennies in 08. It came out
In 08,
Was it?
see, I thought it came out like in early 2000. I thought that's when it went back down.
Well, it was like
Thinking of having events.
0.0003 when it first came out, but like I think like 08 it was like 8 to 10 cents in 08.
Even better. I mean, I'm thinking of 2016, but yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. All right, Jack, hit him with the hard one.
It was around zero.
Yeah.
All right. So now for the 90-year-old question. What is one thing you would want your 90-year-old self to say to you?
I would hope that I would say it was a life well lived where I helped a lot of people and made a lot of money.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I can dig it.
Great answer.
All right. So before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners?
If you're looking for a home inspection, give us a call.
I like it. Where can they get a hold of you? Where can they learn more about you and your business, Mark?
So I have a website, imperialinspectionservices.com. Do
Newly
book
designed?
inspections. What was that?
Newly designed, updated from 2000?
Newly designed, brand new, nice and shiny. Even got Sam's thumbs up of approval on it. And I just started a second website that's not quite complete. We'll link it when it's ready. But it's a home inspection blog where I'm writing articles and whatnot on the changes that I'm seeing, a more in-depth description of what radon is, what air quality, water quality testing are, what the kinds of molds are, kind of getting really in-depth, things we don't want on the website to distract from the business, but things that still should be seen and known.
Like
I like
it. Jack, where can people learn more about Tell Us Why?
You can go to telluswhypodcast.com, check out our community forum. If you don't already follow us on social media, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, every social media platform there is. All the links are in the description below.
Yeah, check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbeam, anywhere you get your podcasts. Every week, ton of good great content being shared. Come be a part of the Tell Us Why Financial Freedom community. Quote of the week.
All right. This is actually Sam Horton texting me this one this morning. I don't know why he's throwing quotes of the week at me, so he's working for me. Courage is knowing it might hurt and doing it anyway. Stupidity is the same, and that's why life is hard. Jeremy Goldberg. That is it for today. Be sure to join us for next week's episode. Until next week.
Bet on yourself.